Come on, dude. I got mouthful enough. Let's go.
Oh, that's what you usually do, huh? For a game?
Word. Well, we are live
I-
here with the Kommit interview on the beat drop.
Oh, yeah.
This is JuCoHi bringing in the boys. Let's sound off, starting with Axiom.
Hey, so name's Axiom, flex player for Team Kommit, and Marf is a feeder.
My name's Exus. I'm a flex tank for the team, and Marv is a feeder.
Hi, I'm Ice. I'm the captain/GM for Team Commit, and Marf is a feeder.
Hey, I'm Josh, also known as Honey Badger, and I play support for Team Kommit, and Marf is a feeder.
I'm JuCo, and I guess Mark's a feeder.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
You're part
nice.
of the team now.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Super cool to be here. Glad to have you. Glad to have me. Oh, wait, this is my podcast. Wait, okay. So let's talk about Team Kommit. You guys are absolutely bonkers at this game. Gotta start with that. So now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about the real stuff, which is the meta and the patch that just went live approximately 3 hairs ago. So let's talk about it. We got Tracer changes that everybody's hyping up. We got Sigma changes that everyone's saying he's Garbo now. There's no way we could play Sigma with such a huge change. Winston's got to change. Orissa's got to change. So a lot of the people who are getting 0 time in the meta are getting positive change. A lot of people are getting infinite time in the meta, getting a lot of negative changes. So walk us through what you think's gonna be the repercussion of all of this, whether it be like, hey, nothing's going to happen, we're still going to be the best team in the league, everybody sit down, or it's going to be like, well, now we're worried about this team or that team, or worried about this strat or that strat.
Well, honestly, I don't see much of the meta changing too much. Like, yeah, like a lot of the heroes that are meta right now in Double Shield, they're pretty prevalent. Even after the changes, because like it's just hard to beat it. It has so much stability built in, and like it's gonna be super hard to actually like counter it. And like they buff a dive, but I don't think they buffed it enough where it'll actually like turn metas. I think for the most part it's gonna stay pretty consistently as double shield. Although like there will probably be more like counterplay now. Like now that double shield is definitely not as strong as it was. So yeah.
Basically, I feel like this patch is going to be like towards the very end of Dive, or not Dive, Goats, where Goats was still pretty much the meta. You kind of had to run, Ryan Zarya and a Brig. But as for the other heroes, you could definitely pick 1 or 2 different. I don't see any DPS other than maybe Tracer. And I've been hearing a lot of Junkrat play has been going on, but I don't really see anything else happening other than like Orisa Sigma. I think Sigma's fine. It might be a little harder to play him, but he and Orisa are going to remain meta for at least the next few months.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, Tracer for sure might actually see some play, but far from meta. Dive, I don't think it's not enough changes to be meta again. Like adding another second, like, okay, Blizzard, we get it. You don't want to ruin Orisa, we get it, but an extra second, that's not good enough, in my opinion. But it's not going to change that much.
The Orisa changes are terrible because they're not doing anything to prevent the hero from being meta. They're just making it more difficult to play the hero, which is what they did to Mercy when she was super OP. They didn't really make her less meta for a long time. They just made her more difficult to play. So Orisa's not going anywhere. Sig's not going anywhere. Reaper, I don't think is going to go anywhere. Doomfist maybe, but well,
I still think Doom is too strong.
Doom probably. Yeah. Maybe you replace the Reaper with a Tracer, but day 1 patch we'll have to see.
Yeah,
I don't expect anything happening in the Eclipse match though.
Yeah, because like the Winston change is definitely not enough. Because all you have to do is just walk through the shield that you got him. The shield changes does basically nothing.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's why Doom is probably going to stay as meta still, because Doom is one of those few heroes that can still get stuff done despite double shield. And even with I don't play Doom, so Axiom, like your input, but like I don't think it's enough to make it to like he's just not meta. Like he's just really strong.
It just makes him worse to play.
Yeah,
That's really all there is.
And plus, Doomfist is probably going to be the one. If Tracer does become meta, Doomfist is going to be one of the few heroes that can actually deal with her right now.
Yeah.
Because you can't really running a like a Tracer Reaper is going to be kind of rough.
Guess
Gotcha.
it depends on the map.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think putting letting the hype die down and putting a little bit more of the game into perspective, you come to the conclusions that you guys came to of like not a lot's gonna change. I think the DPS is definitely the most willing to change. I think with
Yeah.
the
100%.
like
Yeah.
if Tracer comes back into the meta, then that also adds room for like McCree to come back because McCree already counters Doom and like Reaper semi-effectively if he focuses one of them rather than both, which is the reason he's not in the meta because there is still both of them. So if you take like Doom out, and because like say the charge time is just too much for your DPS player, not like a meta thing, more of a personal thing, and then you put that player on Tracer. Let's say that they're more comfortable with Tracer, so they're like, let's just nip that in the butt, change that. Then the McCree is suddenly getting so much more value now because they have a Tracer that they're willing to duel. But then there's the new Tracer changes now can do effective damage to McCree outside of his stun range.
Yeah, flash range.
It, it opens up a whole new duel between players that everybody was used to for such a long time that is now just gonna kind of get swapped around with so many of these different changes to a lot of meta and counter meta heroes and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
you're exactly right. I think the tanks aren't really going anywhere. I think Winston getting that shield change is super interesting for his counterplay with Reaper because I currently think he's one of the best tanks to handle Reaper. I know that's like a hot take, but I think him not feeding his ult and his damage absorption with jumps is super like valuable out of like a good Winston player. So like having more shields to negate that damage is kind of cool. We have to see what happens. I'm gonna watch more tier 2 play before I hardcore dedicate to that opinion, but
Yeah.
I think there's potential, which is something that's always an exciting like buzzword for Overwatch, but rarely gets followed up on. So tanks, talk to me about what you are gonna what you have been liking, what you've been hating in this meta, and if you had your way, how would the meta change to be in a more you centric comp between you, the main tanks, and the off tanks on your team?
Well, as the resident tank player here, and the one who's stuck in Orisa jail right now, when it was Orisa Hog, I was the Hog player, and I really enjoyed the kind of sit back, wait for a combo to happen, wait for an opportunity to present itself, and then we move in, because Orisa Hog is a pick comp. But when Sigma came around, and I was put on the Orisa because Andy grinded Sigma for 2 weeks straight, it was really difficult suddenly becoming the main tank in a meta that we didn't quite understand at the beginning. And then once we understood it, it took a lot of work to adjust to suddenly having to basically play like goats again, but from a main tank perspective when I was on the off tank. Like we said, I don't think Orisa Sigma is going to go anywhere for at least the next few months. I would love to see more Roadhog play, and we have been seeing a lot of Rein Zarya play on certain maps like King's Row, but I do like the aggressive play style now that we've got it locked down, and I think that above anything else is why we're doing so well in the tournament, because we kind of know when to press W and go into the enemy team, and the synergy between each of our duos is working really well, especially now in the tank line.
So quick follow-up question before we dive any deeper. Say the meta changes into like Rein Zarya favor for some unknown reason that happens, and does that keep you on the main tank role, or would you go back to the Zarya?
I would go back to the Zarya.
Okay.
Andy would move on to the Reinhardt. Marf and I would swap off tank roles.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Cool. So onto the DPS. Like I was saying earlier, they've always been the role outside of like excluding goats where they've had the most freedom within their role to choose different type of characters and like different archetypes of characters. So talk to me about what this meta has given to like you in terms of that flexibility. Have you just been only practicing the Reaper Doom? Have you been trying out Sim Bastion strats or Pharah or even like Junkrat, like was mentioned earlier, or May even. So any depth beyond that, or is it just play the meta? Let's turn and burn.
Well, let me tell you, becoming a Doomfist bot, best decision I've ever made. To be honest, being able to instantly just punch in, potentially get a pick or displace, it's been fantastic. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's running its course right now. I want to see more. I mean, May is also maybe gonna come back, maybe, but I mean, there's a potential for having other characters now, but it's looking more like it's just going to be more of the same. Like it's just there's not enough change, but that's primarily I feel like the tanks. It's not really the DPS. Like the DPS is not really the problem here. It's yeah, again, it's the tanks. So many barriers in the way and not really ways to kind of get around it besides flanking or busting the barrier. So it's not really much you can do there.
Which is why Doom is gonna remain meta.
Yeah.
But do you miss playing Hitscan though?
Kinda. I mean, I occasionally play Bastion. You know how fun that is. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, your Torb and Junkenstein earlier was pretty nice.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, you got the turret spot first try.
Oh yeah. See, I'm pretty good at them. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I kind of do miss playing Hitscan a bit. I just want to bust out the Soldier and the Ashe a little more.
Yeah, when Soldier has ever been played. Lol.
Yeah, Nano Visor.
Yeah, I see as like a Hitscan player, the potential with Tracer slowly creeping back up is like, I know she can't technically shoot past shields, but her mobility lets her go past shields. So if her damage becomes super lethal at our level of play, then maybe I can see a DPS player like yourself, if you like Tracers, being tempted to switch back on to Tracer rather than Doom or Reaper. It depends on wherever you go, because Doom and Reaper has been such a weird combination for DPS players. It's like the first time where I've seen like the carry / hitscan DPS been like, nah, I don't want to play Reaper, let me play Doomfist, because they're more mechanically demanding in some portions of the team fight. And then Reaper kind of aligns with like that Pharah mentality or the Genji mentality of just like positioning is everything until you have to pull the trigger and get like 3-4 kills at a drop of a hat. So I can see why the roles have flipped, even though Reaper's technically hit scan and Doom is technically projectile. So super cool to see the interplay, as well as the tanks, a lot of off tanks opting for Orisa and main tanks opting for Sigma. So we'll move on to supports. Moira Lucio only, or are you trying those, like I've seen a lot of tier 2 play with Ana and Brig, or Brig Lucio, or Bap Zen, Bap Mercy, any of those strats in the back pocket? Or
it'd be nice to play something other than Moira for 10 hours like this season, but
Moira's just so viable.
It's
like
pretty. I'd say it's pretty consistent that like your support line is gonna be dominated by some form of Moira plus like maybe like a Lucio Mercy or like a Bap, because of just like the ability for Moira to be able to heal through shields with her ball and like her mobility just makes it like Cole being able to go to
do damage, heal, go through all barriers, keep your tanks up while pressuring the enemy tanks.
Like it just makes her super viable, right? And like with Ana, Zen, like a lot of supports can't heal through shields.
Or
and
can't
like,
do anything through shields, so it's kind of like useless.
So I personally don't enjoy this meta as much. Like I know like depending on the heroes you like if you like playing Moira, then or if you're like a Lucio one trick, then this meta is
playing Ana
really fun. Yeah, but like Ana Zen was probably like my favorite support meta. Like obviously like I'm basically a Zen one trick. So I'd love Zen to come back. But yeah, like I do like the style of play in this meta where it's very similar to Goats in a way. So
I like the aggression that you can display and be able to do well.
It's not as passive as like Orisa Hog or like stuff like
stuff where you just sit around and do nothing until you get a pick. Those
or
like
like Bunker.
Always like super boring. Yeah, Bunker honestly might work, like definitely not like my least favorite meta.
It is kind of funny that out of all of the supports on our team, pretty much everyone has like one support that they main or that they really like. Like Josh likes Ana, Ice likes Zen, Boredom likes Brig of all heroes, but none of the heroes that are actually meta, they like all enjoy playing.
Yeah.
Ice complains about Moira every game. Boredom ints on Lucio every other scrim, so
Because of Mora, you see a low teammate, oh, just spray him. Oh, you see a person like pushing you, oh, just right click all day, easy.
Because
Yeah,
honestly, yeah, that's like at least.
don't you
one point
understand
about
the
Moira.
depth of Moira play?
Oh yeah, dude.
exactly. She's
A lot of skill.
much-
I've been working on that fade
Exactly.
jump. I've been working on the fade jumps. It's like the
Oh, yes.
Mercy fly tech. So you know.
so skilled.
So we'll move away from the meta because we always harp on that for super long. But everyone has their opinions. We'll never all come to a consensus. But we all can agree that some metas are just not fun. And a lot of people
This
are
one?
saying that goats wasn't fun. A lot of people say that wasn't fun. A lot of people saying this isn't fun. So we'll get past that. Beyond that, we'll talk about your current reign of dominance in the Discord tier. You've dropped, unless you want to correct me, 3 maps total. And yeah,
Do you count ties or like?
I'm
just-
not counting ties. I'm counting just
Okay, yeah,
you
I'm
blatant.
pretty sure it's 3.
I think
it's
it's 3.
I could be wrong.
Pretty
sounds
because
about right.
if I remember right, it was Otaku first, then Prodigious, then Renovatio.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I have so many questions because you've played teams like the Meteors, like
Yeah.
Invictus, like Instalock, and didn't drop a map to them. So walk us through those like the moments where you've womp teams like the big wigs. I know you haven't played One Last Ride, Tough Luck yet, but some of
Yeah.
the big names like that, and
I'm-
but still like drop maps to like middle or even lower end of the table. Was it just like we're not gonna try on these maps because like it's this team and we'd rather try a new strat, or like something deeper than that?
I
Well,
will say
Uh,
for Otaku at least, we just recently picked up a new player. Then
Wait, it
and
wasn't
we have-
prodigious. It was prodigious. Cause
Oh yeah, it was pretty.
yeah, against you guys, we had we lost our Lucille player and our shot caller.
He has never
off-
played in a scrim or practice at all. This was
Yeah.
his first time with us, and
So-
we threw him in this game. So our support line, I was constantly confused of what we were doing, and I'm sure so was he because he hasn't played with us at all before then. So that it was generally a mess until like probably the second map, and when we figured out, hey, we're trying to get our act together now.
Plus,
Actually-
they were running Rhine, so that was a little weird.
Yeah, interesting comp. But for the most part, like against Otaku, like they played really well on that map. I wouldn't say we got unlucky, but we just didn't play it well.
And we were not
then-
awake for that match. I swear.
Yeah, and
Like,
then like there's the Reno game with Paris, and that was overall a really close map. Like they played really well as well. So I mean, so like sometimes it's just really hard to get that 4-row clinch. Like even like really good teams, like you can't go perfect. So
one thing that I remember saying to the team, weeks ago was when we play well, we win games. But when we play poorly, we lose games. Now, we've won every game so far, so it's now not games, it's just maps. But
yeah.
but every single team that's taken a map off of us, they were playing well, but that particular map, we were not playing well. Otaku on Volskaya, we were yelling at each other. I remember we were not having a good time. What was it, Prodigious on Lijiang? We didn't practice enough. We didn't warm up enough, so we were kind of still waking up. And then Paris on Reno, it was the same deal. So when we play really well, we do good. It's not necessarily about if the other team is playing well.
and like for us, there's that factor of just like we treat every game pretty much the same
Fresh.
unless we're going against like the really top teams. Like when we played against Meteors, we prepped really hard for that match. But for the most part, for most teams, we just do the same thing every week. We try, except for like the game where we played Invictus, we kind of relaxed at the end. But for the most part, it's been pretty consistent. Yeah.
Cool.
Also,
okay.
it's also difficult because so many teams switch around how strong they are from week to week. Like Eclipse was not talked about early on. Now, half the panel says that they're going to beat us, so it is kind of difficult to judge how strong a team is. But as long as we know that we're doing things right and can warm up and practice early on, then I think we'll be fine.
Hey, I'd like to point out that that win streak that Eclipse is on started with us. It's every time a team beats us, they're talked about exceptionally more on the podcast. Except you guys are talked about just the same.
Yeah.
Because then Harmony and Chaos beat us, and Harmony and Chaos got the one up like they're gonna make the playoffs now, and no, they just beat us on a day where we're or days because we're a trash team. I'll say it.
Yes.
Ever since I left,
you took a map off of us, man.
hey,
Yeah.
that was when I was playing main tank. That was the proudest map of my life. So no one can take that away. So nice.
I mean, honestly though, the podcast doesn't talk about us
At all.
more, I think, than any other team
At all.
because
Yeah.
we're the best team in Discord tier. We've won every match. Let's talk about other teams, but also then whenever a team like Eclipse or Reno goes on a win streak, then the topic of conversation becomes, are they going to be Kommit? That's when we start getting talked about.
And that's what happened with Invictus too. I thought that was really silly because if you didn't know, Prodigious beat Invictus, so that's not always a good look. So like I was like, how are they saying that they're gonna beat? I don't know. So then I like when I saw the 4-0, like a little piece of me was like, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think aside from the fact that you don't need to be talked about because everyone sees it, they're like, yeah, Kommit got another
Yeah, you can
win.
just look at the standings. And
Yeah,
everything.
so that's all they need. But like aside from that, I know that there isn't a lot of like, I don't know if it's just like a lack of presence in the community, but like you got teams like Tough Luck with Smugs and Specs. They're always saying something, and then they got like Meteors. They're like the hometown heroes of this community. Everybody knows them from previous seasons, all that stuff. And then like Eclipse are like the dark horse of the season right now, just because like they came from nothing and now making something of it. And then
Yeah.
Instalock is a little riddled with problems. Invictus has this whole new roster. So like everybody's got a talking point, but like Commit's talking point is they keep winning. So like you can only go so far with that. So I understand from like an entertainment spec point. It's just like watch them win, let them roll over some teams, and let's get on with the news. So completely understandable. But that's why we have this. I want to know who you guys are. You guys womped all these teams. Let's all take a moment and try to understand why. So maybe we can all be a little bit more committed to this game. You know? So
he said the thing.
He said the thing.
So speaking of staying committed, let's stay committed to the podcast. So big questions. You got some super hard games coming up. You got Eclipse. They're on a roll. We got Harmony and Chaos. The guy who runs the communities in there. That's pretty cool.
You wanted to say league, dude.
I was purposely stuttering. I have it written down right here.
Banned. He said it.
One Last Ride. Now that's we can go deep into that.
I got something to say.
And then Tough Luckers is gonna be your final game. So that's a pretty tough schedule for the top team. Let's hear your thoughts on a couple of those games. If you're prepping for any, you guys say you prep for some of the harder games a little bit more, and I think Tough Luck and One Last Ride kind of warrant that extra sauce. What do you think?
The only team that warrants that sauce is One Last Ride.
Okay, well he's going with the hot take.
Let's talk about One Last Ride then. Let's talk about them.
Yeah,
Are they number 2 in your mind, or are they number 3? It's
Well,
a big
Meteors
debate.
is number 2.
So,
Meteors is number 2. I think that's pretty firm. But One Last Ride, I think I actually said to the One Last Ride guys, you guys can absolutely make a playoff run for the number 2 spot. They're really, really good, and I actually respect them a lot. But I think Meteors is just a bit better.
we played both of them in scrims.
Yeah.
Meteor's looking strong. One Last Ride, I mean, they're a really good team. I do still think Meteors are better, but again, like, with the prep they put in, like, they're really good guys, like, both, like, in-game and, like, out of the game. So full respect to them. But yeah, like, it's hard to beat Meteors. Like, even for us, we struggled, like, when they were down, like, they didn't have Pyro, they were down J-Vice, right? It was quite difficult still, so.
And I would say for sure that we've had a history. Yeah, something of a history. I was on that team before, like way before way before Tranquility League. Like this was a long time ago, and yeah, I'm not really. They've changed a lot actually. Like and Modern's gonna hate me for this, but I'm honest. They were kind of mediocre. Going after I had to say it, okay, but
Damn.
Hot takes.
it's true. It's not even a hot take. It's real. It's true. They were mediocre, but
Modern Lions, like,
it-
he's right.
but they, from what I saw, I think it was a few months ago, or I think about a month ago, I saw a clip or something of their comms while they in Tranquility League, and the comms were incredible, and Modern just like pulling team fights out of nowhere with Sigma on I forgot the name for the map, but like he was down 4v5 and they somehow managed to win the fight, something that doesn't normally happen. You know, you don't expect teams to be down in a fight and then just start using ultimates, but that's what I've seen of them, and I gotta say I'm impressed from what I've previously experienced.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. And then they're definitely your the target number one only prep
Yeah.
going into these last 4 games.
Well, we're gonna prep for the other ones, but
Yeah.
Oh,
I
No.
mean,
but like it's not. It's
Like-
like for the rest, it's like prepping like a turkey sandwich. But this one's like some quiche and maybe
this one's
maybe
the
a
actual
steak.
roast turkey. Yeah.
well, yeah,
Oh.
we had a featured with
Slow
them,
roasted.
right? It's our second feature. We gotta make it good.
Yeah, we got to make it spicy for the viewers.
We
Pull
always
out
So-
appreciate spice. I'm a
Yeah,
fan of
for sure.
well seasoned meat.
But even the other games, like Eclipse is looking strong. Like we can't just like completely just ignore them. They are a threat, right? Whether I agree with the predictions, can't say, but like yeah, they are a really good team. They're looking strong. So for sure, like we definitely have a tough schedule up ahead, but I don't know. We're 11-0 right now, so
Yeah, in
I
your
don't thi-
defense, on the other side of all those games, every team's saying we got a tough schedule up ahead.
yeah.
Because no
Yeah.
schedule is easy when you got Commit on the other side. I mean, it's a little tight. So
And you know, we didn't talk about tough luck enough. I think I say that tough luck, like we don't have to worry about tough luck because I'm treating them the same as pretty much any other team. But now
Yeah,
that
Specs.
now that Specs is on the team, I'm not worried, but I'm interested to see how he's going to play against us because this is going to be his second time playing against us, but he's on a different role. So is having weeks of playing support now good enough prep to finally beat us, or is it going to be the week 1 insta lock where we 4-0'd him?
And I mean, Marf's he's won every game against Tough Luck, so maybe he'll carry us.
Possibly.
Probably not.
Yeah, once Marvin's a beater.
True.
Infinity hold us back.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
yeah, that's a little rough. I don't understand why you picked the guy up if you knew all this.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
I
need
know,
to
I
make
know,
it
right?
of
Look,
some
look.
sort, you know.
Here's the story. When Marv came to like Andy and Ice about possibly joining the team, so they obviously had to okay it with me because I would be, on the role that he would be switching on and off with. So they pull me into the voice chat and say, "Hey Sam, we're getting a new off-tank player." I go, "Okay." Am I being replaced?
Yes.
They did not handle it very well, but Marf's a good addition. So he's
so
making us stronger.
we have 4 supports right now, right? And so
Yeah.
we also need 3D tanks, cause yeah, we need to have a full 10-man roster, or is it? Yeah.
I think it's 9,
So-
isn't it, right now?
Oh yeah, it's
We have
like
9.
3-3-3.
Yeah, it's 9. So or yeah, so
It's like 3-2-4.
Oh yeah, you guys had 4 sports. That's actually ridiculous. Okay.
Out of the total number of support players that have been on this team in the past, they could field their own team of just
Yeah.
support players.
that's true.
Yep.
Dang.
I mean, what can I say? We like supporting that team.
Hey.
All right,
Well,
please kick this man.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Ice has been good
I know.
being review. We gotta get
Oh
you.
yeah, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
gonna step down now.
Yep. Right. So talk to us more about these, like, because you guys didn't have an acquisition till like halfway through the season, right? Like it was very delayed, which was something that we liked a lot on Prodigious, because we were one of the teams where we came in not only with like the goal to do well, which isn't going so well, but we also came in with like, we don't want a single roster change throughout this entire
Oh,
season. We are
hard
doing
to
our
do.
best.
yeah,
And
it's hardcore.
yes, because I mean we're all friends IRL before we even started playing Overwatch. We're just like,
Yeah.
we all got
That's
the game
cool.
and we're like, well, we could either get good at this or League, and there were 6 of us, so it was like, all right. Well. And then we got a
Tough
7th
choice.
eventually, so it
Yeah.
works. So yeah, like we just started gaming like 2 years ago, and we're like, well, we can't give up now. Like if we lose someone now, oh man. But we've gotten close. It's get you games like you guys and like some other big games we've had, like in the beginning of the season when we played against Sugar Rush, but then we got the easy 4-0 in retro, so that was cool.
Yeah.
We're like, man, we should just leave this whole community. These guys are too good for us. But we're having fun now. We've learned to like all have a good time. Like
Yeah.
I do these, the other guys play the game, so that's cool. So let's talk about more about that. What do
I
you
mean-
guys do? Like, how'd you guys get here to like point right now commit?
That's the question I thought you were gonna ask.
Okay,
We
so
started,
it's a really long story.
Yeah.
I can start. You can middle
Each of
and
us has an origin.
No.
story.
We gotta start with the biggest fact. Minecraft Guild. Let's go.
oh yeah. Okay, so the
What?
majority of us on Commit, not Axiom, not Marv, but the majority of us met on Hypixel, which is the biggest
And
Minecraft
not
server in
me,
the world.
I wasn't in my
Yeah,
class.
Yeah,
Josh.
Josh wasn't in. We came from a guild. Most of us came from a guild called Caliber. That group of friends developed into a 100-man Discord server, and when Overwatch came out, we had enough people playing to do internal pugs. Problem was, with some of us being masters, most of us being like plat or diamond, and some of us being silver and gold, it was really, really difficult to still be friends and have like a serious, semi-competitive pug night, but also want to be, casual and, oh, we're all friends. So some of us said, let's just form a competitive team to play in tournaments and play Overwatch the way it's really meant to be played. That was the original Team Commit with the name Team Caliber. And since we didn't know any other tournaments, I said, well, let's just do the Open Division.
And
Now, the Open
That's fine,
Division, the Open Division is for like Masters plus level teams. We were
it
mid
should
diamond
be.
at best,
It should be because the first game we played was against
like a GM.
I think it was a contenders trial team.
Yeah, like top
So-
500 players. So the first few weeks of Open Division were,
rough.
Yeah,
Really
rough.
to
rough.
put it lightly, we got smacked.
Yeah.
It was not fun, and that plus the state of the game, plus
Goats.
various,
Goats,
various
yeah. It
problems.
was right before Goats.
A number of us left, including me. So a lot of us either quit the game for good or just took an extended break, like myself. I wasn't on the team then for that winter because this was like fall 2018. So I wasn't on the team for that winter, but I came back in the summer because Ice messaged me and said, hey, we're going to try and do GGNA, which was Jane's tournament. Do you want to join? And I said, sure. We put the team back together and said, okay, let's play like a professional team would. Let's have, scrims once or twice a week. Let's, make Google Excel sheets to figure out team comps and that kind of stuff. And we started winning games, and we actually started practicing together, and we started doing really, really well. We went 8-1 in the regular season for GGNA. We had to forfeit playoffs because, Canadian administrators made the playoffs around July 4th. So
Yeah, the weekend of July 4th. So
Yeah.
half our team couldn't even be there.
I think only Boredom was available.
And
Yeah,
I was on
so-
vacation in California. when
Yeah,
the
I was
and
also
World
there.
Games-
wasn't Andy getting his wisdom teeth removed?
Yeah.
too.
So literally, like, and like
I was
Kevin
at work.
Kevin wasn't there either. Like, literally, we could not field the roster, even like with
Even with
maximum
all our
allowed
subs.
bringers.
Yeah.
So it kind of ended up like just being like a forfeit, and like, yeah, it wasn't very fun.
It really sucked too, because we
Yeah.
were all like super excited at first to like do the playoffs and shit. Because I was
'Cause
sure.
we were the number one team in our division, and
Or in our group, yeah.
in our group, yeah. And then you know, we've had to forfeit playoffs. So what was it? The team that
So basically, the team that we forfeited against also forfeited against the in the quarters. So yeah,
so the number 2 team had 2 buys and got to the finals off of that.
yeah. So that was interesting.
Although
But-
with the amount of buys and discords here right now, you know, Prodigious could actually make it.
Hey. Hey.
But yeah, just like backtracking a bit, like to put some more details because Sam wasn't there the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, like for like OD, it was honestly it was more like we wanted to play like in a really competitive environment, but a lot of us didn't have the time or like we didn't have the commitment, and like
The commitment.
we were kind of
Yeah, this is the origin.
that's that. Okay, yeah, I'll get to that. But
And also
basically,
like none of us really knew how to play on like a team in a way. Like
Yeah.
there's comp, there's 6-stacking comp, but like
And
in
there's
these types of
pugs.
games, it's completely different.
Yeah.
and so like we did okay. I think we went 5-5, which was okay. But we also like Ghost was starting to become the meta, and we didn't want to play it. And like not forcing meta, especially in OD, was pretty bad. So when we did GGNA, that's when we said, okay, we're gonna actually start playing meta. We're gonna work on shot calling, and that's honestly
Practices.
probably one of the things that carry us through a lot of games is how we're good at planning and like shot calling and everything. And that really comes from when we played a lot of goats in GGNA, because
yeah.
goats taught us how to properly communicate and plan, call rotations, and everything. And so that's why like we could hold Reno even though they use ults like kind of meh, but that's how we held Reno for 5 minutes on End of Gibraltar, because we planned everything. We used ults as efficiently as possible. Like it all comes from like when we played in goats. So after GGNA, I don't know if many people know this, but Jay Vice was on one of the teams we rolled in GGNA, and so he joined Meteors after. And so he asked us, or he asked me if I like we were talking about like the team that he joined, and he's talking about like this new like community with this tournament going on, and so it got me interested. This was after GGNA, after the forfeit. We were kind of
Yeah.
depressed, so we come into Trank like hoping to redeem ourselves from what happened in GGNA.
Yeah.
And so we came in with the name Team Commit because the meme comes from like back in OD days when we would struggle to get people to get on. And so there's this whole meme.
And also because the logo we had that I made, we didn't want to change it at first.
Oh, bring up
so
the old logo.
yeah, so basically
we
it's
didn't want to change it at first. So
Yeah.
instead of just like commit with a C, we just changed the C to a K so we can stay with our original logo.
yeah, so we like the caliber, that's where the K comes from, that's why it's commit with a K.
Yeah.
And so that's basically where we got the idea from. That's why we're Team Commit. And also like just from Ghost as well, like committing to the fight and everything. Like that's where we got the idea from. So yeah.
Here's the thing: the actual story behind the name itself, though, was during OD when we were struggling to get people on.
Oh, yeah.
A couple people in particular, I won't say any names, but a couple people would just play Destiny, like they would go offline from Discord and Battle.net and whatnot.
Or even better, stay online. You can see them playing Destiny.
Yeah, they'd just be playing Destiny. So one of our older teammates said that they didn't have any team commitment. And that's where the name came from. We decided to be Team Commit once we started GGNA. Josh, pull up the old logo and just post it in general here.
I'm looking for it. It's
Alright.
on my old computer, and I don't have that computer anymore.
But yeah,
Unlucky.
like so basically, the idea. So the reason we have, well, I guess going back to like your question, like why we had like pick up so late. We came in expecting to play goats, not really expecting the meta to change enough. Like especially not Force 222.
Yeah, that kind
and
of
so-
blindsided us.
We had no DPS players. All of us played either tank or support, and so I had to fill the DPS role, which I mean it went okay. I mean we won both of our games, so you know. But because we saw the problem, we picked up Axiom before. Well, yeah, we wanted just in case. We picked up Axiom before the tournament started as a DPS Diva Flex, which was kind of ironic now looking back at it.
Yeah, who's Diva?
Yeah.
I haven't heard
but-
that name in years.
In 84 years.
But we picked up Shiro after because I was struggling a lot on DPS, especially to get consistent. Because I've been playing support for a really long time. I played support all through goats and everything, so I'm pretty that's pretty much my main role. And
Other than
because there's
Sombra.
yeah, because there's so many there's so few supports, I feel like it's pretty easy to get consistent on a few heroes, and so we picked up Shiro, who's actually Boredom's friend. So once we picked up Shiro, we pretty much stayed with the team we had until El Baba Yaga. His schedule. He's on a collegiate team, and it just so happened that his scrim times happened at the same time we have games, so it just wasn't gonna work. So that's why we ended up picking Rady Body up, and yeah, no roster changes since then except for Marv.
Where do you guys want me to post it? Do you guys want to see the old logo, or do you want me to post it in general?
Oh yeah, JuCo, do you want to see would you like to see the old logo?
So messing with like the format of like the video is a little rough, but what I can do is if you send it to me either like now or after, I can make it
Okay.
the JPEG for the video, if that would be a good meme for you. But
Well, Josh just posted it in general.
So yeah.
ooh, very fuego.
Yeah, so that's basically where the idea came from. Obviously, our logo looks a
give it
lot
a- I'll
better
give it a
now thanks to
quick
Cav.
click.
But yeah, so yeah, obviously Marv, we didn't intend to pick up any new players. We thought after having Shiro, our team would be perfect. We were good, everything was fine. But then without El Baba Yaga or Kevin, like he was our main shot caller, and like he kind of was our crutch in terms of shot calling. And
It was
so
a rough
we
few weeks
felt like
without
we
him.
needed another piece to the puzzle to allow us to play even better. And so Marv, so we played a bunch, me, Andy, and not really Sam, but mostly just me and Andy played Pugs a bunch, and like this Marv kid, he was pretty good, and he was definitely a strong in-game leader. And so we played with him a bunch, and we were talking about stuff. And then like later down the road, he was interested in joining. And so we thought it was a perfect opportunity to get that extra piece that we needed, because like having such a strong in-game leader, it's so important. And so we picked up Marv, and maybe he'll join another team. Who knows?
And I will
It's all-
say though, well, the second one when we lost Kevin, I feel like that was like the biggest like growing point for our team, because
Yeah.
it used to be only he would call, but now we have like 4 different people doing calls as well. Now it's not just
Yeah.
like one person. I mean, yeah, there is like a leader per se, but now it's not just one person doing all the talking.
Yeah, well, it's not really fair to say that Kevin was the only shot caller. He was our main shot caller.
Yeah.
You know,
He was
people
he
still
was our
talked
crutch.
in the fight, but
Oh yeah,
and, like,
100%. Yeah.
Kevin
but-
was definitely our crutch. But also, we just noticed that, you know, we have like 4+ support players at any given time. You know, we have plenty of ringers who, you know, are friends who play support. But in terms of tank, it was me, Josh, and Andy. And when
And-
Josh moved to support full time, it was just me and Andy, and we said, well, if Andy's sick one day, or if I
Or he has
can't
a
make it,
social life.
or if I can't make it for some reason, we're going to be down a tank. So having an extra option is going to be really, really useful.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's good foresight, good origin story for sure.
Yeah.
Very good to hear. I think that gives me a lot of closure, especially as like a fan of Commit, where it's just like I didn't know who you guys were. I just knew you guys kicked butt. So super cool.
Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of people know us now. But like,
We do
it's taken
autographs.
a lot of hard work, and like we've played a lot together. We've struggled a lot trying to work out all the kinks that a lot of teams are working out right now. And
I'm
so,
also
like, a lot of respect to those teams that are getting better because
Absolutely.
like exactly how hard it is to do that.
Yeah, and I'm glad the story is more out now publicly, because I remember early on in the podcast when they were going over the new teams, I think Yeti said that Commit says they're strong because they've been playing together for like half a year. That's true. We have been playing together for, well, now over half a year, but almost actually a full year. But most of us have been friends for way longer, and the very small group of us who have known each other since our Minecraft days, we've known each other for now like 4-ish years.
Yeah.
So really, the best advice for teams that are struggling now is to just stick with it, honestly.
Would you say maybe to commit to it?
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes,
No.
for sure.
Absolutely.
No, get out of here.
Yeah.
Sitcom outro plays.
Yeah.
So, yeah, super cool to hear. Appreciate you guys taking the time to tell me all that. That was super
Yeah.
informative. But what we'll move on to now is like a little bit more like player centric stuff of
Okay.
who on the team has improved the most. And it doesn't have to be mechanically. It can just be whatever qualifier you want. It could be like comms, it could be mentality, it could be whatever. Just who, and all of your opinions. It doesn't have to be unanimous, but just everybody, give their 2 cents on the subject of who's improved the most.
So we actually planned for this.
Ooh.
Oh, you guys did? Not me?
I
Yeah,
did.
Andy planned for this. He's not here. Honestly, I'd have to say like Boredom or Koro. He used to be really quiet on the team, and like kind of feeding on Lucio, but he's definitely improved so much, especially through the train season that's going on. He's become a pretty vocal shot caller. Definitely doesn't int as much. Like just overall, like he's improved so much, and like I'd say the same for Josh, in terms of like back with Goats, in terms of his Debo play. Like it's just, I feel like just playing in a team, like pretty much everyone improves, but I definitely say Boredom.
Nice.
I would say Boredom as well, and it was really nice seeing Boredom improve in real time, not just during Trank, but even during Goats, because during Goats, he was our Brig player. He's the only person I know who actually enjoyed playing Brig.
Still does for some reason, I guess.
Yeah, he loves playing Brig. If he could be a Brig one trick, he absolutely would be. But it was really nice seeing like one game or one scrim. He, was kind of hesitant to pull off stunned combos and that kind of stuff. But as the tournament went on, he was way more into it. He was way more aggressive with it. And now in Trank, he's absolutely he's a corner piece of the team, honestly.
Yeah.
I think when we were doing like, MVP or most improved like mid-season awards like a month or two ago, I voted for Boredom because I just think he's that good and that valuable.
Yeah. Marv is definitely the least improved.
I think
Very
he's the
stagnant.
worst, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much the worst. Yeah.
And then I guess the only question after that, before we jump right into the power ranking, would be who brings the most to the positivity on the team out of game, preferably, just like giving you guys constant text messages saying "love you, baby," or like "don't get too down if something bad happens on your Minecraft server" or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Well, it
hard
used to
one
be
for me.
Kevin.
Yeah, it used to be Kevin a lot, but Kevin's not here anymore. Honestly, as a team, I think we're pretty.
I think our
like,
chemistry is just
yeah,
really good.
We're,
'cause we've
we're
been
pretty
here
like we're
together.
pretty much like friends. Like at this point,
Yeah.
like there's no like real like, oh, everyone, like it's not like what Juke has to do, right, or had to do with aimbots. where he's kind of like glue for in terms of mentality.
There's no one person who's keeping
Yeah.
the team together, really.
Nice.
Although, to be fair, like yeah, I think it's nice having people actually like kind of not be like really toxic. Like yeah, we'll have those moments for sure, but for the most part, like it's kind of it's a team effort at the end of the day. And so although Marv, why is he here?
I mean, honestly,
You know?
Barf is like, if we were actually to say who brings the most positivity right now,
Yeah, it's probably
I'd
Marv.
say it's Marf
Probably
because
Marv.
other
And
than
also
Andy,
I would say.
other than Andy, he's like the loud guy in comms. He's
He wakes
the
us
one.
up. He
Yeah.
yells at us for when we're doing bad.
A lot of people just either won't or can't do that kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of hard for me to actively yell at my absolute loudest because I live in a suite and I don't want to annoy people. But Marf and Andy are absolutely the vocal cornerstones of the team.
I also want to say, me and Boredom, smile.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Y'all, chemistry is worse.
When I'm literally sitting on the bench and me and Marv are yelling at you guys, that's
Nice.
that's the key to our team success.
And not only that, I feel like if we get fucking like wrecked, like on a map we're just doing so like unorganized, we
You just go
we
next.
typically reset. Like between maps, we kind of just bring it back together. Even if we do like terrible, unorganized, we're just all over the place.
Yeah, Paris versus Reno, we were not happy, but Marv said, "Shut up, let's keep going," and we managed to full hold them on Numbani.
Yeah, so it's a lot about just
we're all
keeping
pretty
your
good at
mind
keeping
on
our
it.
mindset
So yeah,
for the most part.
Good to hear. I feel like that's a common theme with a lot of like well-rounded teams is that it's just like it isn't any one guy, like you said, Juke is an example of just pushing the team forward mentally, but it's just like everybody being a shoulder to cry on or
Yeah.
a foundation for better play and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's super cool to hear. But let's get to the spice. So as I'm sure everybody knows at this point, it's just a top 8 PR. We're gonna start with the Discord tier because that's the tier we're in. But you're more than welcome to do the Harmony tier if you have time. So
Okay.
jump right into it. And of course, you can rank your own team as well.
Well, I feel like we kind of
Next.
have to put our team on.
Keep it going.
first,
I know.
right? But yeah, I think, like we said before, I think Meteors is definitely second. They've proved themselves time and time again. Like they're really strong. They also have a pretty easy schedule for now, so definitely second. One Last Ride I think is third. Again, really strong team. I think they have one of the strongest like cohesion in terms of like team play as well. And then Tough Luck, like that top four I think is pretty solidified. I think to be fair, right now, with all the changes happening to Reno and Instalock, I think I have to put Eclipse at 5, just because of like they have just been rolling teams below them. They've been doing super well. Their DPS are really good. Although Cryptic Feed, I mean,
Yep. Gotta count for that.
But that's at least consistency. Cryptic's gonna feed
Yeah.
with Reno and Instalock. They've been doing some roster changes, so you don't really know what's gonna happen.
And then yeah, like with Instalock and Reno, I feel like Instalock's doing, and also Invictus. Almost forgot about them. I mean, I know a lot of like, especially like Falcon on Invictus. They're a really talented team as well. But right now, I do think Instalock is better than Invictus, so I'd put Instalock at 6, and then Invictus, and then Reno. And then past that, it's kind of messy.
Well, you don't have to go past that. It's only top 8.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
You hit it on the nail.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, you guys breeze right through that. Does everybody agree with that? Like, is that a consensus with the team?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate the afterthought. So, top 8 for Harmony.
Okay, well, we don't pay too much attention to Harmony.
Yeah.
That much time.
So just
I'm gonna be honest.
just have fun with it then. Just make up some teams.
I love Harmony
think
teams.
number one.
Boop's number one.
Boop's number 1.
Yeah, Boop
Okay.
number 1.
Easy. Yeah, that's unanimous decision. I think among the community.
We love you, bud.
Yeah, what he said. I think second is probably gonna be Maelstrom.
Okay.
I
Above
think
vitamin C.
Yeah, I think Maelstrom, despite
I have to
the
agree with that.
11-0 that vitamin C has, we did boost capital, so I mean, but like I do think Maelstrom
Yeah.
is better than vitamin C, but
I want to see Maelstrom
we'll
take
see,
it
we'll
all.
see this week.
I want to see them squeeze the juice.
So yeah, after Maelstrom, it's probably vitamin C, then Illusion, and then Karma.
Sure.
Illusion's pretty
Uh,
good.
Yeah,
They're super good. I've been hearing they're
yeah.
talking about moving up to Discord tier, so that's really cool.
Okay, that's
Oh,
good.
really?
All
Hey,
so
good luck.
they'll move Invictus down to Harmony.
In a
Just a rumor
positive
though.
way,
I have
Josh.
no clue. This is just from people through the grapevine, just talking that they might be.
They'll bring
Discord
Melts
tier.
back into Harmony.
Yeah.
But past that, I mean, you gotta include the Holy Jalapenos.
Sure.
I don't really know where they fit in there, but
Or after
they're
Karma,
in
sure.
top
We
8
can
for
just throw it
sure.
there. Yeah.
And then probably like Minty Hippos and Comets.
Sure. Yeah.
After
That's top 8.
Yeah. After top 5, it's kind of up in the air.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
personally
that
because
top
I
5 is
don't know
kind of
that much.
solidified with like Boop, Maelstrom, Vitamin C, Illusion, Karma. Like that's
Honestly,
everyone's
though,
saying that.
I really want to see, definitely not this season, obviously, because we're so close to the end. But next season, I want to see like a team commitment pacified Pythons roster that doesn't, reset every second week. I want to
Yes.
see them do well.
They look like they could too, honestly.
Yeah.
After having the interview
Yeah.
with them and talking to them as people, they seem really dedicated to getting
Yeah.
better at the game and
That's good.
getting those dubs in the next season, and that's super cool. I mean, I think they said it the other night on the podcast that they're technically not out mathematically. So I mean, if they pull a rabbit out of the hat and make it, sure, more power to them. I think they'll do super well. But you're right. It's more of a now at this point. It's a next season. What are we planning for? So
And
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with Harmony, I mean, Discord is at this point. It might as well just be if you don't fold, you have a pretty good shot at making playoffs, right? But with Harmony, it's kind of like
You're still
you
in
have
it.
to be good
Yeah.
to get right. And so I feel like looking forward to the next season is a good outlook. Like not focusing too much now on what's going on now. Obviously, play and see how well you guys can do. But yeah.
no,
But
I agree.
Part of talking about Pacified and wanting them to do well in terms of having a stable roster is also just because we've had like 3 teams now in Discord who folded.
Potentially
Yeah.
4. Potentially
Yeah,
4.
I
Super
never
weird.
I never liked seeing teams fold. It was fun to meme on Frantic Lava Cats and Overtime and that kind of stuff, but Sugar
seeing
Rush.
decent teams fold is
Yeah,
kind of.
It
I
really
wanted to
has,
I
yeah.
wanted to play aimbots at their peak.
I want to play Juke.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, not just from I want to play them perspective, but also Juke's a great person. I enjoyed playing against Sugar Rush. I like these guys, and I want them to remain part of the community. If not as those teams, then maybe next season they can make a new team.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like for sure, like a lot of these teams, like they may fold, but hopefully like the players stay because honestly, that's one of the best parts about Trank is the community. That's what I think makes it better than some of these other like community or
personally,
tournament.
From our 3 tournaments we played, including this one, Tranquility, 100% my favorite.
Yeah, so
Because it's an actual community.
Right,
GGNA was pretty. GGNA was so big that it was too
Yeah.
spread
It's
out.
flooded. Right.
Yeah.
You,
And
you
open
can't have a
division-
meaningful relationship with a lot of teams in that community simply
Yeah.
because it's just so big. Well, this is like way more personal. I'm a big fan of this community and completely echo everything you guys are saying.
Also, GGNA was 9 weeks for the regular season.
no, it was 2 games a week. I think it was 5 weeks plus playoffs.
So that's like
Something like
Pretty
that.
fast.
That's
yeah,
quick.
that's like a month and a half.
Yeah, you really get to know people.
Trank is 15 weeks for the regular season.
Yeah, you
so
get to know people.
You have a big tournament that's really fast, or like a decent sized tournament that's pretty slow. That's Trank, and that's what I like.
And a
Well,
lot of people are active in the Trank community. It's
Yeah.
really nice to see.
That's
Mhm.
what we're trying to do out here. Well, we love you, Trank, and we are running out of time. So, is there anything that you guys want to say before we end it?
Um, well, for one thing, Marth is bad.
Uh-huh.
I think we all know that at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. Thanks for all the support. And like, we'll definitely keep winning. Hopefully, we'll stay undefeated.
Nice,
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
Gotta keep that undefeated streak.
Hell
know?
yeah. I think
Uh,
I feel like that's the only way to get us known at this point.
I mean, it's I like doing these kind of podcasts because it's nice to put personality to names.
100%, yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to do this.
Anytime. No, this has been awesome. That's the whole point of this. Just meet the players, right? Just talk it out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Thanks for dropping by, everybody who's in the stream, and everybody, thanks for having Kommit. You guys have been great, and this has been JuCo, and we'll see you guys later. See you. Bye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.